Focused Warrior Podcast. John, John. What's up, bro?
Bro, happy 100, man. I know
Happy
you wanted to,
100.
I know you wanted to bring it up, but episode 100, and dude, I massive fucking appreciation for your brother for the conversations we've had. Guys, just go back and listen to, half the stuff that we've talked about. It's been a journey. But I think the biggest thing is that if you have a look at the stats of podcasts, some podcasts don't even make twenty episodes because people quit and give up and it's all too fucking hard. And here we are 2 years later, we've done 100 episodes and we've kept going. We've had incredible conversations. There's been a lot of eye-opening moments. There's been a lot of, how do I put it? There's been a lot of, and it probably flows really nicely into the conversation we're going to have today of just embracing moments and not not getting caught up in the noise and the chaos and why we shouldn't be doing this stuff. We've just gone, you know what, we need to have a conversation because you're my brother and I love our conversations, so happy 100, man.
Happy 100 back, brother. Hey, everybody, here's the thing. You get 2 years worth of our life. You get an insight and a look into our life for the last two
Yeah.
years. And if you go back to episode one where we started, where I was at, my first job that I was at when I started episode one, where Aaron was at, you're going to find all kinds of gems throughout the journey. When we made to episode 10, bro, when we were so excited about
We,
10, and we
we
were excited
were.
about
Yeah.
20, and then
Yeah.
50, right?
Yeah.
Bro, in every part of that has so much
Oh,
whether
fuck.
we sounded like goofballs, which we probably did, right? But we were just in
100% we did.
different mindsets.
100%.
We're in different spaces. Dude, and I'll just mention this, Aaron. Remember when you were so close to securing a gym
Yeah, bro.
and you had gym equipment? And dude, I,
Fuck,
I
don't
know it's
bring
a
that
sore
shit back
spot.
up again.
No, it's a sore spot. I know it's a sore
Fuck.
spot. I know.
Fuck.
But I'm just saying, man, this is the thing. If people want to go on a journey into our life, you're gonna hear it all. You're gonna
Oh,
see every part of it. And dude, it's fire, man. It's epic. So happy 100 back, bro. Like I said, we'll keep that part short and simple, but
yep.
hell yeah, man. I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, and look, and again, we've done a podcast on this. It's like celebrate those small wins. And I'm not. We're both not going to sit here, and we're not going to have this episode's not all about the past 100 podcasts that we've done. Go back and listen to them. They're there. They're there. This is all about where we're at now. We're not going to talk about the politics. We're not
Mm.
going to talk about what's going on in the world. And as we're recording this, this is the 29th of July here in Australia. So it is kind of end of financial year for us, middle of the year. There has been a lot of shit that's going on in the world. There is a lot of chaos. There's a lot of distractions, but that's not where we're coming from today. I think the emphasis of today, and I'll let you bring up the topic, and I'll let you kind of reframe where we're coming from. And it's one of the hardest things for men to do. And I think, and I want people to realize that if a high achiever, someone who expects so much from themselves, so much from their life, if they can do it, then I believe anyone can.
Mm.
And I'm talking about you and I when we expect so fucking much from ourselves, so much from our lives. We are working towards having a life that we've never lived before. And one of the hardest things for a lot of people to do is this one practice. And I experienced that this morning. And I said to that, I mentioned that to you offline. But yeah, this is going to be a great conversation to have. And I really want you to reframe it and what that led to.
Oh, okay, bro. Well, listen, it is tonight's episode is called The Power of Letting Go. What Aaron said, men can't do that. Hard for us to do that. Hard for us to step aside, man. And it's not just that you're letting go for the sake of letting go, but you're realizing that there's just most of this life is not in our control. There are things we can control, but our problem is, as high achieving man, is that we want to control everything.
Yep.
Not in a bad or toxic way, Aaron. Let me get that out of the way as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's just you made the mistake. I know I just mentioned a sore spot from you from a previous episode. You did it. You did it with the right intention, with the right mindset. You were clear vision. You had everything in line, and it didn't work out. And the problem with us, man, bro, is that we get crushed to the point where we're like, you know what? Forget it. Forget the whole thing. This was stupid for me to even do. And especially when you're in business, right?
Yep.
But bro, that's just a small part of it, man. I'm gonna give you a little bit of my personal journey, but is there anything you want to add on top of that that you want to talk about as well before we do?
No, I don't want to take away where this is going to go because I think it's such a beautiful message. And I truly believe more men need to embrace it more because there's so much beauty at the end of it. There's so much release. And with, like I said, with everything going on in the world right now, not only is there heaviness on our shoulders and in our heart with that, it's that once you just embrace this little practice, you're not going to fucking master it straight away. This is going to take time, and it's the consistency and it's the persistence, and it is going through the the challenges, the emotional pain. But without change, you need to go through pain. So I'm not going to take anything away from where this is going to go with you because it's such a beautiful message.
Hmm. All right, guys. So look, this is what happened. So last year, Father's Day, um, for those that don't know, I have an older boy. He's 27, and him and I had a pretty rough conversation to the point where he basically told me he hated me. And in those moments, and by the way, just so you guys know, we had a rough history. We really did. I wasn't the man that he needed me to be. I was young when I had him. Again, not taking any excuses whatsoever. I wear everything exactly as it needs to be worn. I'm fully responsible for all actions that I took, having him at a young age and growing up the way that I did with him. And he had a lot of choice words for me. And I let him have his moment. And it was hard for me. It was heartbreaking. It was something that just absolutely just crushed me. But I knew eventually that day would come, and it did. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And that was last year, Father's Day 2024. But just so you guys know, the other part that I had to make peace with was my actions, what I did and did not do for him, how I affected his life negatively, how I affected his life positively. I had to look in the mirror and realize that I could sit and make a million excuses, but that wasn't going to solve anything. It was no, no, no. Be real. Who were you then? Who were you supposed to be for him that you weren't? Listen to understand him. And that's what I did. I understood his part in all this, right?
Mm.
Did I like it? No, but that's the ego. The ego is like, oh, hell no. Hell no, you're not going to talk to me like that. And I think that's a problem. That's first gem for all the fathers listening. If your kids are coming at you like that and they have valid thoughts, you need to listen. You need not battle back and be like, nope, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to, because once again, it's an
Yep.
ego trip.
Yep.
It's an ego trip. So, dude, I let him. He probably vented, Aaron, for about a good hour on me that night. That was rough, but ultimately, man, more recently, I have found that I can't control it. I can't control his thoughts. I can't control the way he feels about me, right? And dude, this was just a few weeks ago when I visited the mountains, where I had this quiet time that was just a revelation for me that it was just next level. And I came out of that experience so present, and so clear-minded that I went, it's okay. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying it's okay. He needs to feel the way he needs to feel. Bro, I said that. I wrote it down. I
Oh,
thought
yep.
it. Dude, I did all these things, Aaron. I'm not kidding you, man. You know what happened this week?
More than
He
one
fucking
thing, I'm assuming.
he fucking called me. And he called me out of the blue. Just typical day for me. I was done with work and I was getting dinner. And he called me and he said, "Dad, I miss you.
Fuck, bro.
I love you. I
Look,
want
look,
you to come around more."
fucking hell. After he telling you literally 7, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, what he truly thought. Holy fuck, man. And okay, how often did he normally call you? How often did he call you? Was it last time like,
We didn't speak after Father's Day.
holy shit.
We didn't speak after Father's Day.
How old is he? 27?
Just 27.
Okay. 27-year-old all of a sudden realizing how important his dad is in his life, to have the courage to have that kind of conversation after the last conversation you guys had. Holy shit.
And Aaron, dude, it's a lot. Believe me when I tell you, but it makes me feel so good to know that whatever point we're starting at,
Yeah.
we're starting somewhere,
Mm, mm.
right? We're starting somewhere. We're both big UFC fans, and he's a huge. He loves to be able to talk about that sort of thing. So tonight there's a fight, and I'm gonna be texting him, and I'm gonna be talking to him, and it's just whatever way we gotta connect. I'm with it. I'm here for it, right? And it's exciting to me, Aaron. And this is the thing, man. It's all based off of me pushing my ego aside and not because, dude, Aaron, I could have taken that conversation in a lot of different directions
Hmm.
and really destroyed the relationship completely, which is what I think most men do. You get your ego in the way, you start getting a little bit pissed off. Maybe you've been having a few drinks and you're like, you know what? I'm going to destroy this relationship with a lot of ugly words, a lot of things that you can't come back from.
Yep.
And Aaron, I didn't do that, bro. I let him have his moment and I let him have his months to reflect on it, whether or not he hated me the whole time, which it sounds like he did. But I told him, I accepted your information. I didn't like it, but I accepted it. Okay. So that's my personal experience with it. And then I have a professional experience with this as well, where very similar to the point of where, and I can give this example for everybody that's listening right now. You have somebody at work who's a rock star. They're doing really good. Maybe they're your counterpart. Maybe there's somebody that's getting a lot of credit, and maybe you've been putting in the work just like they have. You've been getting credit too. You're both pretty much neck and neck when it comes to, kicking ass at work. You got a high achiever right next to you, right? Then you interview. You both interview for the same position. What happens next? In my case, my ego started settling in again, where I went, it should be mine. They've seen what I can do. This is a no-brainer. Then what happens, Aaron, is 2 weeks go by. I still haven't heard nothing. Ego gets in a way again and goes, man, you know what? I'm nervous. What if we don't get it? What happens if they just this? What happens if they just that? You know what? Well, you know what? Maybe you should start being salty and being, maybe you should just start being devious and not doing what you're supposed to and blah, blah, blah. And the ego really settled in. But once again, bro, literally wrote in my book, just like I did the other experience, I'm going to let this go. I am going to and everybody has what they pray to. I'm going to let it go. And I'm not going to be in control of this. I can't be in control of
Mm,
this. I've done my part.
mm.
Bro, when I did that, Aaron, there's no result here, right? So just like the other experience had a result, this one is still working, right? But what I'm saying though, Aaron, is I looked at this from the other side. I went from if I was the business, if I was comparing these two people, what makes the most sense? And when I put the shoe on the other foot, I went, oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Yeah, I know this is about my livelihood, but you know what I did, Aaron? I went, you'll be fine. You're
Yeah.
going to be just fine. You've done damn good work. You've proved yourself in a lot of ways. And if it's not here, it will be somewhere. No different, Aaron, if you think about it. And those that have listened to that episode, remember when I left the Rockies?
Oh yeah.
Remember
You
when
left,
I
but
got the Rockies? Dude,
I,
remember when I got the Rockies? I was
yep,
on top of the world.
top of the world. When you left, you were in fucking fuck them. I'm fucking better than that. Yeah, yeah. Um,
But I've let it go, bro. And that's the thing, man, is I think about it and I go, the problem with us, Aaron, and again, I can only speak for me, is that we kind of put dibs on the things that we physically have. So, in my case, I have a nice big old monster truck out front that's mine. But is it? Right? If it was taken away from me, is it a part of me or is it just my material thing that I own?
is it part of your
Right?
identity? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And that's the
Totally.
problem. When we put work as our identity, you get destroyed
Mm.
when it gets taken away from you. And that's where we got to separate it, bro. And that's what I did in that moment. I'm like, yes, I'm really good at this, but it doesn't define who I am. So I have to be willing
Uh,
to go, it's okay if it goes away. Dude, it's changed the way I'm moving now and the way I'm operating in every space, man. It's so dope. It really is, brother.
Fuck, that's incredible. All right, we're going to take a short break, and we will be back. We will be back for part two to finish off this incredible conversation. So stay tuned, guys. All right, welcome back. Part number two, man. I'm glad you guys are hanging around because part one was, yeah. And if you were just even a parent, you know, and I remember my childhood, how much of an asshole I was to my dad, and I do remember it was a time where I kind of wanted to wanted to heal what was broken, and I knew our relationship was turmoiled, and I despised him. Um, and I do remember the time that I actually rang him up just to at least start a conversation. But here's the one thing I'm going to be brutally honest with: I don't think I ever said I was sorry, and
Ooh.
yeah, I don't think I ever did. I'm going to have to like really sit there and recall it. Maybe there was a moment I did, but it's definitely not something that I remember right now. And obviously, when my dad passed away, 10 years ago, sitting on his deathbed, I don't think I even apologized for being. Oh, I may have apologized for just being an asshole of a son, just a fucking dick, who was just trying to, you know, be something that he wasn't, pretending to be this fucking hot shot, you know, young guy, young, dumb, and full of cum, like all that stuff. So I think for me, it's really realizing that, especially in the world right now, we don't need fuckwits like that. We don't need people that are self-entitled. We don't need people that are, little bitches and play the victim. We don't need, especially men, and we're talking about men here. We don't need men that will are controlling and are walking around like their shit doesn't stink and the self-entitlement. We don't need that right now. And I love that your boy, being the age that he's at, had the courage to give you a call. And as a father receiving that, based on the last conversation you had, man, I can only imagine how full of. Look, I want you to explain it. Like in that moment, what was the emotional feeling in that moment?
Oh, so much, Aaron. So much, dude. I wanted to laugh, cry, jump around. I mean, I had every emotion. I really did because I just I wasn't expecting it. And when you're not expecting that kind of news, all you want to do is just you want to let it all out. So I immediately when he said that I went, ah man, we just went into it. We just flowed. It was so cool the way that it happened. And he started talking to me about stuff. I started responding to him, telling him things, you know, putting on that little dad slash coach hat where he was like, man, that you just blew my mind. And I'm like, I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. If I can teach you anything now that you're a grown man, that he's married, right? So he's got a wife. And if I could teach him anything, because a lot of what I've done, Aaron, is I've moved a certain way so that my kids see it's more about action than it is about me telling you what to
100%.
do, right? And
100%.
so I think that I can stand tall saying that I did that, right? Was I perfect? Absolutely not. Nobody ever is, right? But I did it in a way where I didn't make it so detrimental that there was nothing we could come back from. You know what I mean?
100%. And what we tend to do is we always tend to go back into the past that either didn't work, that fucking pissed us off, or, and that's where the damage is. And you said something right at the start of this, with that trip to the mountains in nature. Funny that, going into nature where it's just peaceful and it's beautiful and there's just no noise and there's no chaos and it's life, you know? In that moment realized that you needed to start letting go, and you started letting go of the stuff that was actually no longer serving you, but letting go of the stuff that was harming you and preventing you from being able to move forward in a l- I'm not going to say a less chaotic pace. You're actually starting to let go in new experiences that you hadn't experienced yet. So you were in that mindset, and I really love that. Now, I want to have a little bit of a conversation in regards to how fucking hard it is as a man, as a provider. And look, I talk about being a provider, being the protector, being the role model that the world needs, a strong man that the world needs. I talk about that quite a lot. Now, the one thing that is really hard for a lot of men is letting go and letting go. And it's not letting go of control, it's letting go of, I think, self-expectation, if I could probably,
Mm.
describe it, is that we put ourselves in such a high esteem of being the provider. And what does it look like? It's not just about money. It's about time, it's about energy, it's about emotions, the emotional control. Well, not emotional control, it's about emotional intelligence, not losing your shit all the time and being able to be calm and be grounded. Like that's the providing side of it. Yes, money's there, and yes, also making sure that you've got a safe home and feeling safe from the protector mode for me is, and this is my opinion on it. Naturally, everyone's got a different opinion, but my opinion on the protector mode is providing a safe haven, which is your emotional intelligence, which is your having a home that is safe, having a roof over someone's head, keeping them warm in wintertime, and not putting them in harm's way with your actions, but also making sure that you're protecting them with the elements that are going on in the world right now. So there's a lot of that now when it comes to us, and the burden that we put on ourselves every single day is that. It's like, what am I doing in this moment, right here, right now, that is helping me provide, protect, keep them safe. Like also working in business, working on me, doing my own thing, being there for my kids. Like there's a lot going on in a man's head, and so for a man to sit there and to let go, you just don't. You don't. How do I say this? And you could probably also help me with this a little bit as well. You don't realize how hard it is for a man to let go when they have all of that other burden just to get by one day. because this is an everyday thing. We don't at the end of the week go, oh, fuck my God, we've got all this and this and this. No, every single fucking day we wake up and we have these silent conversations with ourselves. I've been in this practice for easily 10 years in the personal development space, my own personal development journey. But we've been on this planet. I've been on the planet for 55 years. You've been on a planet for nearly 50 years. It's like this is an everyday thing. And all of a sudden, we'll get to a point where we put all that pressure on ourselves. So, talk me through how difficult it is on a day by day. Because all of a sudden, there's that revelation of like, fuck, I've got to let go. And then all of a sudden, you start seeing the fruit of that. So, right now, in this moment, being a week later, you're back into routine. How hard is it for you to constantly still play back in when you were in nature, in the mountains, telling yourself to let go? What's your daily practice? What does it look like? What are those conversations that you're having in your own mind?
Here's what happened, Aaron. Because the mountains happened the way they did, people are probably wondering, all right, that's typical answer, right? Oh, you go to the mountains, you have a revelation, you maybe journal, blah, blah, blah. I did none of that, Aaron. I didn't fucking journal once while I was out there. I didn't meditate once when I was out there. You know why? I didn't have to. I didn't have to. And you know what it was? I didn't have an agenda. When I went out there, I had zero agenda. I had zero plans. I had no responsibility whatsoever other than enjoying that cabin that was nestled in the mountains that was beautiful, right? Now, here's the thing, man. When you come back from having that kind of trip, what I took away from that was that things are going to happen and they're going to be out of your control. I shared some of the stuff with you offline, but essentially, for those listening, the night one, our power went out. Whole fucking mountain, pitch black. You want to talk about a horror movie in the making? Right? But in those moments, you go, oh, fuck. This is why I don't come up here and do this. Ego sets in again, right? And the next morning, I go, you know what? I don't want our SUV up here. I want my big truck up here instead. We go down, we get the truck. I didn't care about the gas, Aaron. I didn't care about the time it took. You know why? That time it took us to go back and forth. You know what the beautiful part was? I was with my wife and we had by far some of the most amazing conversation both on the way down and the way back up. It reconnected us to make that trip
Priceless.
epic. So
Priceless.
people don't understand, man. When shit goes south and you say, I hate this, this wasn't supposed to happen. Yes, it was.
Yep.
You
Yep.
just got to see past the BS that just went down and realize, well, what's the beauty? What's
Yep.
the beautiful part about this?
100%.
Right? So now you ask me that question about how I operate today. I operate the exact same way, Aaron. But you know what the difference is? I don't kick my own ass when something doesn't happen the way that it's supposed to, right? When things don't go as planned, because that will happen, it's still happening. I'm not like overly pissed off at myself to the point where I'm like, see, this is why I don't do this. This is why I don't do that. Oh, I didn't get this done today. I didn't get that done today. And I literally just beat the shit out of myself for no reason. That was what I was operating at. And to your point, Aaron, that's chaos.
Yeah. How many
Okay.
men are in that space
Chaos.
though?
Yes, 1,000,000%, brother. And this is what I would say this to the men. When you're operating in chaos, what your mental thoughts are, and I can only say this because this is what I've gone through. When you're operating in chaos, you're operating from a scarcity mindset,
Mm.
meaning at any moment the bottom can fall out and I'll lose everything I ever owned. I'll lose it all. What did we go back and say that was, Aaron? It's an identity crisis.
Mm.
We're now saying that I'm going to be embarrassed if I lose every single thing that I have
Mm.
because this is all me.
Yeah.
It's not, Aaron. I mean, dude, what are we leaving this earth with, Aaron? We're leaving with nothing, bro. So why do we try to hold on so tight in chaos because we don't want to look stupid because somebody's going to judge us if we have this or if we don't have that or if we don't have that, right?
Yeah.
That's the a chaotic mind that keeps us scarce, that screws us up to where we're just so overbearing that you're holding on, that your knuckles are bleeding so bad because you cannot let it go. That's the revelation I had, man, was whatever is going to be. And I don't mean you just put it in autopilot and you just let whatever
Oh,
happens
fuck no.
happen. No, no, hell no, you don't do that. You still get up and you go hard every day, realizing that there's things going to twist and turn and make your day absolutely crazy, right?
Yep.
But, but you're okay with that. You have to be okay with that. Otherwise, you're in control all the time. And guess what? You're not.
The whole control aspect, I get it. When we're in constant control, we're expecting everything to go right, and it never fucking will. Right? Life will kick you in the nuts. We know that. We both know that. We've gone through it in the last 2 years. Just fucking go back and listen to, previous episodes. And I love it that you all of a sudden went, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go get the truck. And yeah, trucks belong in nature. Take a bloody camper van it's got to be an SUV. It's got to be heavy duty. I really love it also in that moment that instead of you focusing on the shit that wasn't working, it was all about, you know what, we're still going to come back. We're going to have an amazing time. We planned this weekend. It's still going to happen. We're still going to go to the mountains. Still going to do all of this stuff. And for you to be in comfort of having something that you probably thought that you needed to take the truck before you guys even went up. And for you to feel calm in that moment that, now I feel better. That's what we're trying to search for every single day is just that calmness. And how do you do that when you're a high achiever, when you're expecting so much from your life, when you're expecting everything that you do to touch the fucking, gold? It's a really hard practice for men to let this go. Now, I talk about it not enough. I don't think I talk about it enough. Is that when your mind is in the past that hasn't working, that's a depressive state because we're always worried, we're always looking at the shit that hasn't worked. That's your depressive state. And then we have a look at where we want to be in the future, how the world's going to look. We're inundated with the media shit. We're inundated with stuff on social media that's programming you on what the world is potentially going to look like. So then we're in anxiety because we're so uncertain with the future. And the one thing that we always miss out on, the one thing we always forget, and we call it, and I call it a gift, it's the present moment. And that present moment is not today. Yeah, it's this breath. It's this moment. It's this moment. Because the moment that second's gone, that minute's gone, it's this moment right here, right now. So how can men, when we are expecting so much from ourselves, when we can't express ourselves on an emotional level because no one understands us, when we get to a point where society doesn't want a man to express himself, you got society's expectation of man is all men are fucking toxic. When you express yourself and you become the leader, what can men do in your eyes? What can we do to find that calm, but not lose this, what our role is, the provider, the protector, going after the things that we are going after in life? What's that one thing that can help?
Realize that you cannot change anybody else's thoughts. Realize you cannot change anything else out in this world. Media, the traffic you're in, what your kids did. You can't change any of that, Aaron. None of it can be changed by you. Can you steer the train? Absolutely. 100%. But what does that mean? That means what's next. What happened, happened. What you do next is the most important decision. That's what I would offer in that moment. Because no matter what, you can sit in turmoil and anger and frustration and fear. Nothing changes
Spiral.
whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
Unless you change it.
Amen.
Doesn't mean you control it, but you change it.
Yeah.
What you do next is more powerful than what happened.
Love it. Love it. Brother, that was a this was a beautiful moment. Like, guys, I think definitely at the start, absolutely incredible. And a lot of people would look at it as this whole woo-woo. However, from an energetic, we are all, every single one of us is energy. Every single one of us, when we have a stressed persona about us, that's ripple affected in your family and your community and the people that you come across. They will feel it. As soon as you get to a state, and you can definitely attest to this, is that as soon as you get to a state of letting go, how calm do you feel within your body? How calm do you feel within yourself? Like, what was what's your presence like now once you went, fuck, let go?
Bro, can I just say one more thing about this?
Yeah, man.
Men, embrace your flaws. Laugh at yourself. People are going to be laughing at you anyway. Might as well laugh at yourself, right? Instead of trying to protect it and act so perfect, embrace it. Embrace it. Because look, there's the thing, Aaron. We're all put on this earth to lead, to be the most masculine men we can, right? But let's face it, we all got things that, we'd like to, look different. Maybe we'd like to have bigger legs. Well, then get your butt to the gym more. All right, you want to have bigger arms? Get your butt to the gym more. Don't complain about it. But when somebody says, "Oh yeah, you have chicken legs," yeah, I know, but I'm working on it. Check me out next year,
Yeah.
right? You can always laugh at something. If you're not laughing, you're crying. What the hell do we want to spend our life crying for, man? It just doesn't work that way. So I love it, dude. And you're right, man. This wasn't supposed to be a woo-woo moment or anything like that, brother. But you know what? These experiences, man, they're just making me as a human being and as a man so much more powerful. Because then you go, holy smoke, that's all I had to do. Wow. I didn't realize.
Realizing how fucking simple it is now, but in that moment, how hard it is to even get to that point of realizing that's what
Right.
you got to do. Yeah, yeah, it is. Brother, as always, fucking appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. And guys, thank you very much for listening. I know that we're on YouTube. YouTube full episode doesn't get much play. Our shorts are going off. Thank you everyone for yeah, just for even just supporting us through this journey of, whatever this is turning into be, which I think is pretty bloody incredible. Both John and I are just, going with the punches here at the moment. We're just flowing with it. We're having a great time, and yeah, we're not going to stop anytime soon. So we'll be these frail old men. How you doing, me? Episode 1000. So, I think it's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool. Along the way, there's always going to be a light bulb moment where John will all of a sudden drop a gem, and it's like, fuck, okay, it's that simple. So guys, all of a sudden, just, take that stress off ourselves, because if you take the stress off yourselves, all of a sudden things will start to move the way that you need to move. And John's a perfect example of that happening right there. So thank you, man. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Can't wait to hear your comments, your feedback on this. And brother, cheers to another 100, man. We got to start somewhere.
Let's go. Thank you, guys.